Hey guys, I'm William, your host for Exploring History. Today I'm excited to partner with the Southern Museum of Flight and Vulcan Park and Museum. So let's get started. Do you believe in heroes? Those who possess the courage and the resilience to overcome the most dire circumstances? Today we will explore a remarkable event that happened during the Battle of Leyte, a story of survival and a year-long mission of secrecy. And to our surprise, artifacts from that fateful day still exist at the Vulcan Park and Museum. The Battle of Leyte took place between 1944 and 1945 and marked a major turning point in the Pacific theater of the Second World War. It was the largest naval battle ever fought, involving over 300 vessels and a total of 200,000 men. Both sides had a great stakes in the battle, and victory was vital. Leyte was a key position in the Pacific. If the Allied forces could secure it as a key base, they would be able to advance their operations and take a step closer to liberating the Philippines and weakening the Japanese power in the region. On November 1st, 1944, an account of courage and resilience unfolded by Captain Elliot E. Dent Jr. But before we learn more about the fateful day and what followed, who was Captain Dent? Born on August 12, 1921, he was the son of Eddie Dent, a pitcher for Brooklyn Dodgers, and his wife Eleanor. He spent his childhood in Birmingham, Alabama, and on January 29, 1942, he joined the U.S. Army Air Force's Aviation Cadet Program and started his training at Napier Field located in Dale County, Alabama. To start this journey, we visited with the Southern Museum of Flight located in Birmingham, Alabama, where we met with Dr. Brian Berzanti to learn about Captain Dent's training.
What we have here is the Link trainer,
Okay.
L-I-N-K Link. And this is one of the world's first full-motion flight simulators. So Captain Dent would have been exposed to this, and actually we know when he was here at Napier Field during his advanced flight training, there were a number of Link trainers. So he probably spent a lot of time in a Link trainer like this.
The Link trainer, which was also referred to as the Blue Box and Pilot trainer, was a flight simulator that was developed in the early 1930s. This technology was initially introduced by Edwin Albert Link in 1929. These simulators gained popularity during World War II, as they were widely employed by nearly every participating nation as an essential tool for pilot training. Over 500,000 pilots in the United States received training through Link's simulators.
There is an instructor that sits on the desk behind you, and they're able to communicate with the student pilot inside of the simulator via radio. And there's actually a device outside of the aircraft that's charting the flight in real time, very similar to, say, a modern day GPS as well. So they're learning how to fly by using their instruments alone.
Was there like a height requirement? Because I'm looking at this thing and I'm like, I don't think I could fit in this.
Yeah, you'll see a lot of times with various platforms that the height requirements will either be total height of the individual, like you're a tall guy.
Yeah.
So you may not.
I'm about 4'9".
Yeah, you may not qualify. Yeah. Yeah, squatted down. But you may not qualify in some platforms based on that, or depending on the height of your torso from, say, the top of your rear to the top of your head. So yeah, you're right. There's not a lot of real estate, but the hatch does pop. So
wow. Okay.
So your dome is up there inside of the hatch, and then the door closes.
After finishing up with the Link trainer, Captain Dent would move on to the next stage of his training, flying the BT-13, a basic trainer aircraft. This is what Captain Dent used to fly during the second phase of his flight training. The Vultee BT-13 Valiant, which started operating in 1940 to train pilots, was eventually retired in the late 1960s. Vultee aircraft was made for the U.S. Army Air Corps and then for the U.S. Army Air Forces. Around 7,000 of these babies were made. It is believed that there are only about 40 remain in flying condition today. Captain Dent was now getting a taste of more complicated aspects of an aircraft.
Dent would have been exposed now to radio communications for the first time in flight training. He would have been exposed to an aircraft now with lights. So now he can fly in foul weather. He can fly this thing at night. And for the first time, he's going to be operating an aircraft with a variable pitch propeller as well. So learning how to control that, how to make the aircraft more efficient at different speeds, whether you're climbing or diving, getting the most out of that thing.
After completing the BT-13, he would move on to the next stage of his advanced flight training and become familiar with the
T6 or the AT6, the Texan. This is the advanced trainer. So this is your World War II advanced trainer. It really served as a transitional aircraft. So for Dent, this is what he flew between the basic trainer, which was the BT-13, the Vultee, and then when he finally gets to the P-40, his first experience with a fighter aircraft of the time, this is the aircraft that's serving as that transitional trainer between basic training and getting into that tactical frontline aircraft.
After 3 months, he completes his pilot training and becomes a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army Air Corps at Napier Field in Alabama. Later, he is moved to Drew Field near Tampa, Florida, and in May 1943, after training on a P-40 Warhawk, he's assigned to the 7th Fighter Squadron of the 49th Fighter Group, which is stationed in New Guinea. Dent, who is now a captain, completed a grand total of 235 combat missions in the next 18 months. He was recognized for shooting down 6 enemy airplanes during fights in the sky, 3 when he was flying a P-40 and 3 more while in a P-38 Lightning. In our conversation with Elliot Dent Colback, the son of Captain Dent, we gained insight into the significant events of November 1st, 1944. On that historic day, Captain Dent took charge of a squadron consisting of 4 P-38s and engaged in combat with a formation of Japanese fighters who were protecting a convoy.
He was separated from his patrol. He was after a Zeke. All of a sudden, 4 Zekes came in from the right. He hit them head on.
Captain Dent successfully took down 3 enemy planes and carried on chasing the 4th one. While flying over the destroyer,
Shot his right engine, takes a hit.
There's billowing smoke coming into the cockpit.
he realizes that he has to get to 1,500 feet before he can parachute. Still inside of the destroyer, he parachutes, and as he parachutes down, the 4th Zeke is coming back around. The pilot aims and starts shooting. He misses, and Captain Dent lands in the water, attempting to inflate his flotation device.
This is the type of device that would be worn by World War II fighter pilots, bomber pilots, air crews. This is known as the Mae West. So this is what Captain Dent would have been wearing when he parachuted out of the aircraft. You inflated this personal flotation device with a CO2 cartridge. There was also a valve where you could inflate the device manually as well. And evidently, his Mae West failed him.
Okay.
So Dent's had some sort of malfunction, but it failed him in the water, which, had it not, then potentially he wouldn't have been able to evade capture and get below the waterline and hide and then disguise himself, near a coconut as well.
In the past, I always thought that there were many coconuts in the water and he swam over there. But actually, it's a single coconut that he swam over there too.
The destroyer that shot him down is located within a distance of 200 feet from where he's hiding in the water besides the coconut. The enemy is in pursuit of him, but eventually changes direction and departs. Shortly after, a Mitsubishi Ki-51 aircraft, commonly referred to as Sonya by the Allied forces, passes above him in search mode, lingering roughly 50 feet above Captain Dent, allowing him to catch a glimpse of the rear gunner's face. Once more, he's not been discovered.
There's another 5 or 10 minutes that goes by. Here comes another destroyer, and they come even closer. He can make out the people on the deck. They're smoking. He is right next to the coconut. That's how he evades them that time. They stay around for a little while. They don't see anything. They take off.
As he swims towards the shore, which is approximately a mile away, the darkness is gradually setting in. Captain Dent, uncertain whether it is the enemy or friendly locals, listens to someone speaking in the boat and bravely shouts, "Americano," to find out their identity. He was taken aback when he realized that they were guards from a nearby village. He was taken in, his wounds were tended to, and he was provided with nourishment.
He's waiting around. Within 3 hours, a PT boat comes and picks him up and takes him to Mount Gano. They take him to the infirmary again to make sure that everything's okay. This is where most of the Filipino guards are there, and it's a pretty safe place.
Now begins the actual journey back to his unit. He will be residing in the village and undergoing his recovery for the upcoming days, while being celebrated from the local community. In order to blend in with the locals in case the enemy is nearby, the locals used his parachute to create pants, a shirt, a straw hat, a briefcase, and sandals. The journey back to his unit commences on November 9th, lasting for several days, as he navigates through various villages, choosing to steer clear from the main roads to avoid encounters with the Japanese patrols. Throughout the hike, Captain Dent and his newfound companions narrowly escaped capture by the enemy on several occasions, fortunately managing to evade arrest each time. Finally, on November 15th, after 14 days, he is finally reunited with his unit following being shot down.
He gets there in the afternoon, and all of his belongings had already been divided up, which is customary for missing in action.
Shortly after, he was reassigned to Washington in order to go through a debriefing process. Despite being declared missing in action, nobody, including his family, had any knowledge that he was safe and alive. The intention of the government was to withhold any information from the Japanese about his discovery and safe return to his homeland.
They were really, really careful about any kind of information that was going to be out in the public. As far as his family is concerned, he's still missing in action. He is debriefed in Washington. He is sent to Sarasota, Florida, to train young pilots. He was there from March to December of 1945.
Captain Dent resigned his commission from the Army Air Force and eventually went back to his parents' home in Birmingham, Alabama. It's been over a year that he has been home, and his family's still thinking he is missing in action. He finally knocked on the door.
When his mother opened the door, she thought that she saw a ghost because it had been well over a year and fainted. So that's the reason the inscription says Ghost of Ormoc Bay, 1945.
I am extremely thrilled to meet up with my friends at Vulcan Park and Museum in Birmingham, Alabama, so we can view the historical items that once belonged to Captain Dent during his time on the island.
So some of the more remarkable details and finer keen details about the item, or the items in particular, is the craftsmanship, especially the Filipino guerrillas, and the care and like the detail and the really like the passion they put into making the items. Especially if you look at the shoes and the hat, I should say, just having two different colors being made out of plant fibers such as palm or maybe bamboo, and then just looking at the overall craftsmanship of the shirt and pants. Very, very well done. It's something like quality that you and I would wear today. Definitely very skilled individuals that helped rescue Captain Dent.
Captain Elliot Dent received recognition in the form of a Distinguished Service Cross. He became a member of the Alabama Air National Guard in Birmingham in 1946, and he additionally served in the Air Force Reserve from 1949 to 1953. Captain Dent died in 1993 and was buried at Elmwood Cemetery. The significance of conserving history lies in the preservation of tangible elements from the past, such as Captain Dent's parachute pants and shirt, which serves as a valuable connection to the bygone eras. As we honor Captain Elliot Dent Jr., let us never forget his bravery in the skies, which represents the utmost values of the armed forces. As we conclude this tale of courage, remember that the spirit of bravery lies within each and every one of us. Let Captain Dent's remarkable story inspire you to embrace your own courageous potential. Thank you for joining us, and remember, heroes are not just found in movies. They walk among us every day. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video. I'm your host, William. Thank you for joining us today, and I can't wait to see you next time when we explore history.